What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for more preview content. It is the big game before the international break. It is the Europa League final rerun. Tottenham against Manchester United, not in Bilbao this time, but at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And we're going to get into all the nitty-gritty, all the facts and the stats that seem to be heavily in Tottenham's favour going into this one. But how are you feeling coming into this?
Happier than I was after the Chelsea game, that's for sure. I think the Copenhagen game's given us a bit of kind of hope that this attacking football isn't as far away as we look like against Chelsea. But I think Man United coming to this in good form. But maybe it's time we got to walk our dogs, Man United. You know what I mean? We've got their number. They don't know how to deal with us. So can we make it 6 in a row? I think it would be if we win this.
Be 5, yeah.
5 in a row. Let's do it. I think we can do it. But another part of me saying United are in good form and they're probably coming into this a bit more confident than they would have been, a few weeks ago, that's for sure. And they do play a back five system. That does worry me a bit. So I think there's a lot of reasons to be hopeful and positive, but I think we need to show in the Premier League we can play like we did.
Oh, we'll be 5 in a row. You're right. We'll be 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
There you go. We'll be 5 in a row. But yeah, we'll get into all of that in the match preview. We're going to start off with a Tottenham update, and we're going to start off with injury news. First of all, regarding Mohamed Kudus. He says Mohamed Kudus is going to be touch and go for tomorrow. Yeah,
not great. In better news, Brennan has come on and looked a bit better, I think, in the last few games when he's played. So I think that's positive. So hopefully we're less reliant on Kudus than we've been for a lot of the season. But it's still obviously a massive blow. He's been such a big part of our attack. So let's hope he can get fit for tomorrow. But if he's not fit, I'm not going to be as worried as maybe I would have been before Copenhagen.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it, to be honest. Like, I'd prefer to see him play, obviously, but I don't think it's like the be-all and end-all, and I don't think, we've got no chance of creating attacks and winning if he doesn't play, where kind of our minds were at a couple of weeks ago. So I guess that's a positive. But in terms of other injury news, Romero and Udogie are fit post-Copenhagen. I mean, I wasn't worried about Romero, but Udogie wasn't seen in training, so I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe he was in the gym or something at that time, I don't know. But yeah, Frank confirmed they're both fit and available.
Yeah, for me, at the moment, in terms of who's kind of more important, I actually think Udogie is kind of more important than Kudus in terms of how we play. I think without Udogie there, it's like the pitch is a lot narrower and we're not as much of a threat on the left-hand side. So I think Udogie's going to be, especially in this game against Man United, I think Udogie's going to be so crucial. So we need him fit, we need him available. So it's worrying, even though he's saying he's fit, why didn't he train today? Is he still recovering from something? Is he 100% fit? Maybe he's fit to play, but Spence's are more fit than he is, and he gives him the nod. I really hope it's not the case. I really hope Udogie's fit enough to start. So I'm still slightly worried about that, even though he's saying he's fit to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's so important.
And on that, by the way, Jed Spence did get recalled up again, third time in a row to the England national team setup. So congratulations to him. And a player who else won't be going to international setup this month is Dominic Solanke. And he says the international break will be key. It was clear he was not ready before. We'll look after the international break. That's what we aim for. It's important that we get the timing right on this one.
It doesn't even sound confident he'll be back after, does he?
No, it doesn't.
It's worrying.
Yeah.
Very worrying. Obviously, we heard that he was going to be out for a while, potentially, when he first got the injury. And then Tottenham were playing down the rumours of him being out for a while. Then he didn't recover. He's now had surgery. And now it's kind of playing a waiting game with him. That's been very, very frustrating with Solanke, because I think he would be so good if under Franken in the system. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a very frustrating situation.
Yeah, it really is. And I echo everything that you say, and I'd love to see him in this kind of setup in his system under Thomas Frank, and just because of, as well, on top of all that, what Frank does to develop his forward players, and I think Solanke would be a massive beneficiary of that. It's interesting what he was saying about Dane Scarlett in the press conference as well. He was saying, really good player, amazing finisher, left foot, right foot. He was saying that, he's a player that really needs games at this moment in time, but because of the competition for places, it's hard for him to get those 4 or 5 games in a row that he needs. He says it's hard, but not impossible.
And yeah, for me, didn't sound too convincing that he's set to start anytime soon. Which obviously, if you're Dane, that's not great. I think what he's trying to say, without being too blunt, is he's trying to say he needs to move. I think that's what I think he's trying to say.
Hope not.
I think that's what I think. If you're reading in between the lines, I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, I hope not, because I hope that he could really kind of exert himself in training and kind of push the players. But look, on the flip side of that, you've got Randall Kolo Muani, who also needs just consistent games right now, and he's actually performing at a good level without putting the ball in the back of the net yet. So obviously Muani is our first choice number 9. Richarlison ain't doing too great, but he's obviously back up to Muani right now. So it leaves Dane in a bit of a bad situation, really.
Got Tell there as well. And obviously, we'll see when Solanke comes back, but he's going to obviously come back at some point. So I just think at the moment it's difficult for him to get a look in. He's always going to be playing catch up to the other guys, unless he comes on. And I know he came on and did really well against Copenhagen, don't get me wrong, a great cameo. But unfortunately, he's getting minutes in this setup. He's going to have to make himself unavoidable.
Exactly.
And that's just, it's going to be difficult for him to do that because, at the moment, he's a striker. When he's gone out on loans to championship sides, he's struggled to really even get game time in those scenarios. So to expect him to be now coming into a Tottenham team in the Premier League and scoring goals regularly to fight for those minutes, like kind of what Harry Kane did. Harry Kane, whenever he got that chance, he just scored, didn't he? And you couldn't ignore him after that because he was just that good. Is Scarlett ready to do that?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't think Harry Kane was ready to do it when Harry Kane did it. I know, exactly, he did it. But he needs the opportunities to go and do it. And look, he came on, he made an impact in the last game. And any time he gets any sort of 10-minute spell or 15-minute, however long it may be, any sort of opportunity, he needs to grab it with both hands. And that's the only way he's going to make a career for himself at Tottenham right now. All right, that's the injury news. We've got a few potential transfer stories to talk about. One is Ivan Toney from TalkSport saying that Thomas Frank would be open to bringing Ivan Toney back to the Premier League. It's clear Tottenham Hotspur need goals and will look to boost his front line with firepower in January. Al Ali are reluctant to let him leave mid-season as the player is likely, so the player would have to push for a move if he wants to leave and go back to England. The Footy Insider says that the striker is keen on a return to the Premier League in January and aims to get back into the England squad for the next summer's World Cup. Spurs and Everton are among the clubs looking to sign Toney mid-season window, with a loan deal seen as the most likely outcome. But Tottenham must offload one of Solanke or Richarlison, with both of the forwards believed to be seen expendable by Thomas Frank. Former Everton CEO Keith Winus has said that Richarlison is more likely to join Everton than Toney is in January, and so a potential avenue could open up for Spurs to pounce to get Toney if that desired move does go through.
I mean, that would be interesting. Everton come in for him, we move for Toney. I think that works out for everyone, to be honest. If Everton are, willing to part with whatever money we're looking for Richarlison, I think, it kind of makes sense for Toney because he ain't getting into the World Cup squad if he stays in Saudi. And if he's got any ambition to do that, he has to move. He has to look for a way to, even if it's a 6-month loan, he has to make a move this January. So, look, maybe there's a possibility there. I still think it's a very difficult deal to do. It's we have to move Richarlison on. We have to get Toney in. I think it makes sense because Frank knows him and all that kind of stuff. Do I believe that Frank really believes that Richarlison and Solanke are both surplus to requirements? I don't know about that. Unless Solanke really isn't, we're not. Obviously, it's a bit of a difficult situation with Solanke about where this injury is leaving him. Is it a case of he's not going to be fit till January? Is it a case of even when he is fit, it's going to take him a while to recover? It's difficult to know where we stand with Solanke at the moment because this whole thing is a bit weird in terms of we were told it wasn't a big thing and now it's this whole big thing. So in those situations, We've had it before. We had it with like Skip. We had it with Lamella a few times. So, is it a case of if a good offer comes in, maybe we would be open to it? I can't see us losing both of them though. But if we lose one of them, maybe there's a possibility we can get.
Yeah, I think it would be one or. And obviously he's Richarlison being the easier one to sell right now, obviously because he's actually fit. And I see him going back to Everton as a really good fit for him. And, he goes back to somewhere that he's loved. And look, I know a lot of the Spurs fans, I know there's a lot of discourse about him online, but actually when he's doing well in the stadium, the fans sing his song stronger than anyone else. So I think the fans like his mentality. You always know he's going to work hard on that pitch, Richarlison. So I think the fans do appreciate that. But like I said yesterday, I just feel like Richarlison's time at Tottenham is probably coming to an end, a natural end.
Do you think we sign Toney just on a 6-month loan though, or would it have to be with a view to a permanent?
I would be open to it just on a 6-month loan, to be honest. Look, he's 29 years of age. Like, if you can sign him on a 3-year deal, which I would be open to too, but I think a try before you buy thing for 6 months with no kind of links attached to it, I think that might be the smartest thing to do.
But what if Toney turns around and says, look, I only want to come for 6 months because I want to get into that World Cup squad, but after I'm going back to Saudi, I'm not signing any permanent deals because you're not going to offer me the wages that Saudi offer me. What do you do in that situation? I'd
be open to it because I think he can help us for these 6 months, and then in the summer you look to get someone a bit younger and someone that can help us and have a bit of longevity about him. So I'd be open to it.
Yeah, I think that would be as well. And that if Richarlison, if there's an offer on the table for Richarlison, we get him on loan for 6 months. Yeah, I think that kind of works out for everyone.
Yeah, and he knows as well, Toney, this is probably going to be the last chance he gets at a World Cup. 29 years of age, like he's not getting called up to the next one.
The problem is, if Mwani's playing really well, then he needs to come in and play like every game, or because he's only got 6 months to prove himself for the World Cup.
Yeah.
So he needs to come in and be like the number one striker. If we can't guarantee him that, what's the point?
I think that it just provides healthy competition for places, and
I'm saying from his point of view, if he's only coming just to get to the World Cup.
Yeah, but I think he'll back himself to be that starting striker for us. He backs his own ability. I think he's a very confident person, so I think he'll thrive on that kind of competition for places. So we'll see what happens. Next up is, we're going to bring this name up one more time. Well, maybe not one more time, but Rodrygo of Real Madrid. Team Talk saying that Real Madrid Brazilian forward Rodrygo is high up on Tottenham's list of attacking targets. The Brazilian is thought to be very keen on testing himself in the Premier League and gaining regular football ahead of the World Cup. However, Madrid may use their interest in Mickey van der Ven as a negotiation tactic.
Oh, forget it. Go away. Mickey van der Ven. Would you swap Mickey van der Ven for Rodrygo?
No.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
But we'll get you got Vuskovic coming in.
Don't care, I wouldn't do it.
But Rodrygo could take our attack to a new level.
You can't get rid of Mickey van der Ven for Rodrygo. I like Rodrygo and I think he's a very good player. But the reality is, like, even for such a good player, like the numbers behind what he's done at Real Madrid it doesn't like spark as like something that's going to take your attack to the next level. I think he'll make it better for sure.
What kind of attacker would you swap for Van der Ven then, if it's not Rodrygo? Are there any attackers you'd swap for Van der Ven?
Who would I swap for Mickey van der Ven? What attacker? I think Mbappe.
Just Mbappe.
Mbappe? Why not
Vinicius?
Mbappe? Vinicius? Yeah, maybe Vinicius. It'd have to be like...
But Rodrygo must be, because he's potentially, I think when you look at transfer market value, I think he's like in the top 10 in the world.
Yeah.
Like of all players. So he must be right on the edge of who you would and wouldn't swap.
Maybe. I just don't think like he's as good as maybe those top tier players in the world. I don't think he's of that caliber.
I think he could be. I just think at Madrid he's always playing second fiddle to Mbappe and Vinicius in his preferred position. I reckon if he moved to a club where he's the number one left winger and he's playing every week, a big club, I reckon you could see in a different level to him. He's always been played out of position. I think that's his biggest problem. He's always playing off the right hand side, and he's always kind of like the other guy in the front line. He's never really the main man. I think maybe he needs that. I think he could potentially be an absolute star. in that position in it for a bigger club.
So would you swap him for Mickey van de Ven?
I think put a bit of money on top. I would consider it. Yeah.
So you take money and Rodrygo. So no, I'm just talking about straight swap. Forget money. Like money can come or not. Like, would you swap that? Would you do a deal? Would you be open to doing a deal? Really, I would. No chance, man.
I would be open to do a deal for Rodrygo. So to get someone like Rodrygo in.
What, for Mickey van de Ven? Come on, man.
Rodrygo is an incredible. These guys, you're talking about getting a left winger in, right? There's not many better we could get than Rodrygo.
It's true, but you're getting rid of Mickey van de Ven, who is like just getting better. Yeah, we got Vuskovic coming in, but he's not a left-footed centre back.
It's easier to replace. Trust me, I know how good Van de Ven is, but it's easier to replace Van de Ven than it is to get someone anywhere near as good as Rodrygo.
What defender in world football has the attributes that Van de Ven has?
He's a unicorn. Not many. No one has the pace that Van de Ven does. Right, I understand that, but I think you can replicate. Forget his pace. He doesn't even use his pace as much. I know he scored that goal, but you don't need a centre back to be as fast as Van de Ven. It's a brilliant thing to have, but if you can replace Van de Ven, not replace him, but you can get another centre back who's effective in Frank's system. It's hard to get another Rodrygo. It's hard to get another guy who's as good as that.
I'd rather keep Mickey van de Ven and go for someone like a Rafael Leao or, and there's plenty of good left wingers that you can get. And look, Rodrygo is brilliant, and I think he's a fantastic player, and we'd be lucky to have him. And look, I don't think it's even realistic that we can get him, but if it was realistic that we can get him, obviously. But I think
is he not the best left winger on the market right now?
I don't know. I need to look at who else is on the market. Is Rafael Leao on the market?
I don't know. Maybe in terms of someone who's someone who is not impossible to get, in terms of starting for a top team as a left winger. Let's say it's possible to get any other player if we pay out the money.
Is there any defenders better than Mickey van de Ven on the market?
Yeah, maybe not, but I think attackers are harder to get than defenders.
But I don't know, maybe. But still, I'd still prefer to keep Mickey van de Ven because I think there are other attackers that you can get. And I'm not even certain that Rodrygo comes in and takes to the Premier League and he's an unbelievable player for us. I think he'll be good, but I don't know if he'll be as good as maybe what you're saying he'll be.
But also, with Van de Ven, you still have the question mark about his hamstring.
Yeah, you do.
So you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah. But still, we know Mickey van de Ven has taken to the Premier League. He's getting better and better all the time. And I think Frank or his development has just gone up levels this season as well. So I just don't want to give that up. I think the relationship he has with Coutinho Romero at centre-back, I think Mickey is just too important for us to let go.
Fair enough. No, I agree he's very important, but I just think for someone as good as Rodrygo, I think I would do it. There's just some players, I think... it's kind of on the edge, but I think I'll probably do it.
No, I wouldn't. That's just where we're at. Let us know in the comment section below. It's an interesting debate. Would you be interested in a swap for Mickey van de Ven for Rodrygo? I wouldn't. Sim would. Who are you siding with? Let us know in the comment section below. And last but not least, we're going to talk about Ademola Lookman. Team Talk says that Lookman is the subject of interest from Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham are keen on reinforcing their offensive unit by signing a versatile attacker in the winter transfer window. Paratici is driving Tottenham's move for the London-born attacker, and this winter a move may be on the cards as he's got some recent controversy as he had a public bust-up with his manager Ivan Juric after the Atalanta manager subbed him against Marseille, and they had a bit of a clash. So I didn't see it. No,
I saw it. Yeah, it was. He got subbed off, and he said something to the manager. The manager turned around and grabbed his arm, and then they got into a big scuffle. It was funny, they had gone into a whole scuffle, and Atlanta scored in the meantime while they're scuffling on the touchline, and they didn't even realise Atlanta had scored. For me, obviously, has he only got 6 months left on his deal?
Could be. I'll check.
So wasn't he got a year left in the summer? Didn't he only have a year?
You might be right.
I think I would only really get...
2027.
Okay, so he's got 18 months. I would only do this on a 6-month loan with an option to buy. I wouldn't go permanently because I think he's good. He is 28. Is he I think you only sign someone of that age if you think they're going to be like your left winger for the next 2-3 years, like for sure starting. I'm not certain about that with Lookman. I think he's good. I think he probably starts for us right now. I agree with that. But I think I'd rather try. I wouldn't sign him up to a 3-year deal, paying however much, because then you might, if he's not good enough in 6 months, you might be stuck with him. I'd only do it on a 6-month loan, see how he does, and then in the summer, if he's had a great loan, and we're convinced this guy can be our left winger for the next 2 years, okay, sign him up. But I think I wouldn't sign him permanently in January.
The thing is with Lookman, like he has scored hell of a lot of goals at Atalanta, hasn't he? Hat-trick in the Europa League final for them as well. It was against Leverkusen. And he looks like he's come on leaps and bounds since leaving England. But there is something that tells me that why does he keep falling out with his managers? Like Gasperini, I know Gasperini like publicly called him out in the press for missing a penalty. Which
He said he's a terrible penalty taker.
Yeah, which I thought was crazy, and I think like them two falling out over that, I thought, all right, fine, fair enough. I thought Gasperini was a bit in the wrong there, but you can't have a bust up with your manager on the sidelines for getting subbed off. Like that just stinks of an attitude problem to me. Yeah,
possibly. I don't really know what the deal is with why that keeps happening. And I guess that's definitely something to look into and consider. I think when it comes to his goal score record, you also have to take into account Atalanta, especially before this season, under Gasperini, they played a very, very kind of offensive way of playing. And all their attackers seem to really do well there. It's a weird one. They do well there and they move on, and they don't do well in other places. So I think that is definitely something to think about when you look at his like goal scoring record. But for me, I'd be open to a 6-month loan in January.
Yeah. So who's kind of moved on and hasn't done too well?
There's like, it's not necessarily even moved on and done well, but like haven't done well beforehand. They go to Atalanta and they like become a lot better. Like there was like Zapata, there was Scamacca, there was him, there was Rodrygo, who wasn't even that good before Atalanta. There's quite a few players who have who do really well there, and then other places they don't do so well.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not fully sold on Lookman. Like I was kind of at the back end of the summer window because I think we were desperate for someone.
Oh, De Ketelaere, another one.
De Ketelaere, yeah.
Well there.
So I was like desperate for someone at the back end of the window. Well, Højlund's doing really well at Napoli right now.
Yeah, but true, but he didn't translate it to the Premier League.
Yeah, but he came very young as well. And Højlund as well. It's not like he's scored loads of goals for Atalanta, did he? I think he scored like 7 or something.
I think he got 12, didn't he?
Anyway, like I said, I think I was desperate for someone on the left wing come the end of the January summer transfer window. But now I do think we need someone better than Lookman, and I'm not convinced he comes in and solves all of our problems.
No, I agree. That's why I'd only do a 6-month loan.
Yeah.
Look, the reality is I doubt we're going to sign. I'll be surprised, put it this way, if we sign a winger that we all want in January for big money. Like I just don't see it happening. I'll be surprised. I'd love it. I'd love if we splash 80 million on Semenyo in a January transfer window. I just think that's unlikely. In January, you've got to look for opportunities. And if he's available for a 6-month loan, that's the kind of opportunity I'll be open to on a loan. I find unlikely we're all going to be sitting here in January and Spurs have spent big money on a left winger we're all happy with.
Are these stats right? Because I'm looking at Højlund's stats. Did he score 10 goals last season?
What, in the Prem?
Yeah. That's what it says here.
Did he?
It says he actually got more goals last season at Man United than he got at Atalanta the year before. Which is crazy, because I thought he just completely flopped last season. Did he get 10 Premier League goals?
4 goals.
Huh?
So it's 24, 25.
10.
That's the season before. That was his first season.
Yeah, but did he get 10 Premier League goals in his first season?
Yeah, because he went on that run, didn't he? In January time, he was like scoring loads of goals.
So he got more than in his first season at Man United than his season at Atalanta. I think that's crazy. Everyone considers him like a complete flop.
Well, last season he did get 4.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have broken to you today.